Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. I'll try to make this quick, but I never do succeed. And shouts out to the Reverend Brother Pastor Deacon Dr. Hurricane Edward Allen Anderson, who says it's going to be real quick. I don't want to be long. And an hour and 15 minutes later, he's still gone and the man is preaching. And I'm cool with that because we learn. Hats off to him. Listen, y'all. I want to tell y'all right quick, if I may, about the role that Ebony Williams is playing. Ebony Williams is playing a role. When I first saw the photographs and Ebony Williams was sitting up there with the photographs and the baby bulge, I thought, this can't be real. Thought it was AI. I'm not going to lie. I knew she was trying, but I thought it was AI because she was talking about how important it was that black males go and donate sperm to the sperm banks, but, don't actually be there where you'd actually have control and some say so. No, don't do that. Just go and donate to the sperm banks. Come on, brothers. We need you. You know what, Ebony? Why don't you find a man, submit to him and drain his testes and don't put all the financial burdens on him of your lifestyle? I'm not saying responsibilities, but I mean the financial burdens of your lifestyle. Don't put those on him. Don't do that. There are women that work here where I live, and I tell these ladies, listen, I'm not trying to get in the way of your family time. When I go to them in their jobs and things like that, I say to them, I'm not here to make your job difficult, and you have a family as well. So you got 2 jobs. I know that. I'm just here to fix this particular issue. That's all. But they do handle the stress and the pressure of the job and the family pretty well. I give them that. They do it better than the women do in the West where you live. Now, by the same token, Eboni K. Williams is pretty much saying that because of the caliber of woman she is, that you as a man start off by default beneath her. What I tend to say to women or regarding women like that is, you've been taught to castrate men, especially black men. And I no longer respect this sentiment in sisters because we already know sisters don't make these same demands of not only non-black men, but specifically Wyatts who are responsible, or let's say whose grandparents were responsible for the kidnapping and the colonization. Now, sisters will justify that by saying, well, why not go for the man that's on top? And by the same, also by the same token, it's their grandparents or their ancestors that did it, not them. Okay, that's fine. It was our ancestors that were enslaved and colonized, not us directly. We just have the legacy of it, just like they have the legacy of the benefits of that. So why are we at fault for what happened to our ancestors if they're not at fault for what their ancestors actually did? Let's call that what it is. But what I wanted to really point out to you was that what Ebony Williams is doing is not just a selfish act. It is easy to say black mind sees hatred and malice in everything that a Westernisha does. But that's because, well, there is a lot of malice in it. If it's not hatred, there's still malice. And then malice could be hatred or it could merely be contempt, but it's there. It is now understood by more and more and more people every day that black men do not want a fatherlessness epidemic in our community. We don't want a bunch of boys and girls growing up without their dads. We don't want this for children of other races. We damn sure don't want it for children of our race. The issue is this. Black women don't have that same concern. They actually don't want us around. They want us. They want us as a thing in a closet. or in a drawer or something you only pull out when you need it. Don't even really take care of it that well. Put it back when you're done. Next. So therefore, I want you to know that what Eboni K. Williams did was not out of just selfishness. There was a malice and a contempt to it. She is contributing to the fatherlessness epidemic in Black America, and she knows it, even if the sperm donor is not Black. And we don't know the race. I don't know if she knows the race of the donor or not. I don't know if this time she specified Black sperm and she got it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she didn't specify race and therefore she does not know. I don't know yet. What I do understand is that the child is going to be identified as Black, as the child should be. But Eboni K. Williams is introducing the child without a dad, and is going to introduce the child to Black America, to Nigger America, without a dad, contributing to the fatherlessness epidemic, intentionally doing so she can sit up and say, I'm a boss babe, boss bitch, all that. I can do this by myself. I'm strong, independent, don't need no man. I just need the sperm. That's it. And no, I didn't give him no pussy. He didn't get the trim. He had a nut in a cup for a few dollars, gone about his business. And I was willing to pay a lot of money to a bank, thaw it out, put it in a turkey baster, and shoot my own club up just so that I didn't give one of these dusties no pleasure. But I got a baby. And I ain't got to listen to no dusty tell me what to do neither. Okay. You see? That's what the hell the problem is. It was about excluding you in any meaningful way, even financially, because she could afford it, but she's going to influence other sisters to continue in that path. And we know that sisters are having a more and more and more difficult time finding men even to fornicate with them. They've already, quiet as it's kept, them, let y'all in on a little secret. Sisters don't have a high success rate getting non-Black men to fornicate with them. We think, oh, they could get some ding-a-ling. They can, but they still got to go through some rejection to get it. They're willing to go through that rejection to get some non-Black ding-a-ling because the rejection is coming from non-Black men. They're not willing to do that with you. They're willing to pursue non-Black men. They're not willing to pursue you. They're not willing to risk rejection from a Black man because that's what they consider to be beneath them. That's why even when sisters are selling a bit, they still have to have some dudes to whom they say no, and publicly and nuclearly, so that the word gets out that she told so-and-so no, she dissed so-and-so, so that it can offset a reputation that she might have for being a thought and a slut. That's the problem. That's one of the things about them that turns a lot of men off, Black or not. So I'm letting you in on that little secret right there. Yeah, man, they don't have an easy time getting just any non-Black man to give them some. That's the first thing I want y'all to realize. So now we got that out the way. I'm going to tell y'all this about this act of war that she has done. And she's not the only one to do it. She is a high-profile example that has done so because she could afford to do it the most easily. There are women out there who can't afford to go to the sperm banks, so they just have to go ahead and make a booty call to some dude. And they may not like it. They may say, well, I don't really like the fact that this man's going to derive pleasure in any way, form, or fashion, but I want this baby, and I don't want a man to be around. And they kind of get upset when they call over a Pookie or a Ray Ray to come hit that from the back, and then he still wants to be involved with the kids, even if he ain't got much money to do it. He's still willing. Okay, I can't take the kids into Disneyland, but guess what I can do? I can be there for the kid and love the kid. They get mad about that. A lot of y'all didn't realize that. But remember, the study showed that Black and Latin American men were the most involved. Remember that. And that leads into what I'm going to tell you that we can do against this act of war. Black men of all nationalities, Guyanese and Ghanaian, Gambian, Zambian, Zimbabwean, Mozambican, Malawian, South African, Cape Verdean, Jamaican, Bayesian, Grenadian, St. Kitts citizens, Belizeans, Surinamese, Black Brazilians, Black Colombians, Black Americans, Black Britishers, Black Australians. We need to all be on one accord about two things. One, we're not going to go to no sperm. None of us. Most of us don't do this anyway, but now we need to be on accord in agreement as a code. We do not go to sperm banks and bust nuts and cups for a few days. We don't go to sperm banks and bust nuts and cups, period, even for a lot of money. We're not doing that. Secondly, we're not going to sit up here and accept these invitations to fornicate anymore because there's always some kind of setup. There's always a price to pay. And if the woman did not intend it at the time, she winds up intending to extract a pound of flesh later on because she has to. So we're not going to accept that. No more seed on their terms. It's a war, and you don't fight your enemy on their terms when you can avoid it. You don't let them lure you into an area where they've got the advantage. Have you fighting uphill. You don't intentionally let them do that to you. With the F, man. So what you do is you lure them to where you have an advantage, or you fight on your terms in which you've got a way that you can win, unless you're all about what is a fair fight. Now, if there's a moral element to it, the fair fight is when the good guy wins and the bad guy loses. We are literally the good guys in this. So don't lose. A fair fight is when you win. And you don't really have to do that much fighting. Non-engagement is one of the best ways to win. I've stated this before. Don't accept the booty calls, invitations to fornicate, none of that stuff. Don't accept that. Don't give them your seed in any way, form, or fashion. Don't give them access to that seed in any way, form, or fashion. This way, here's why I say that. This way, we can take what that study taught us in 2015 by the CDC and make it go further. From now on, we can make sure that the Black fatherlessness epidemic is not because of Black men at all, voluntarily or involuntarily, because we weren't there. We did not leave the child because we did not conceive the child. If that child is not born in some sort of marriage, and I don't mean registered with the state either. No, I'm not talking about that. But the child ain't born in a marriage. The dad's not on the birth certificate. We can sit up and say, guess what? That child was not conceived by a Black man, even though that is a Black child through the mother. That child was not conceived by a Black man. So when the next generation of young boys and young girls start looking at us Black men and saying, well, you conceived and left. You fled. You smashed and dashed. We can sit up and say, no, actually what happened was that we were all on code, that we would not be involved in anything like this. We were all on code for that. So in order for one of us to actually be your dad, but your mom raised you alone, either your dad died or your mom took you from your father, and that means she ran out on her own husband. That's what the hell that means. And when you show this to a kid, when you let a kid know that there's no way it could have been any of us because we were all on code about this, not only does that increase the chances of a kid knowing this before they come and say anything, but also once a child realizes that that's the case, it gives us credibility when we start to tell the young brothers, listen, even though I ain't your dad, let me tell you what your mom was really on. Let me tell you what the game really was that ran us the F away. Because you see, if the kids believe what the mother, and the mothers are going to tell them this, if the kids believe some Negro just went up and wooed her and deceived her and tricked her and shot the club up and then vanished because she said she was carrying. When that happens, the kids will believe that, and one day they're going to come and they're going to tell us. That means we don't have to go seek them out to tell, hey, young brother, listen, this is the games that these women are playing, and your mama don't want me to tell you. It'll be they come to us at some point. And we say, well, this is the real truth, and these are the games that your mom's been playing. Now go and tell this to your peers, please, because they need to know this. So while we should actively seek out some of the young brothers to tell these things to, by the same token, this will increase the numbers that come to us and we tell them this, and then they take this back. Because I want the world to know whatever game any women are playing, whether she's traditional in the traditional environment, or she's a Westernisha in one of the most liberal places in Scandinavia or Michigan. I want the games to be exposed. I want you all to know that even here in this traditional environment, when a woman gets married, her mother is telling her, hurry up and conceive and chain that man to your leg. The mother of the wife is telling this to her daughter. But the mother of the son is saying, don't you take no shit off that broad. And if she don't treat you right, you bounce. I want you to know what these games are, no matter where they are. I want to blow the lid off of this. And one of the reasons I say it's war is because the good women are hiding what the games are a lot of times so that they can still play them when they want to. They just may not want to hurt you in the process. And that's commendable, but not honest. That's a benevolent matriarchy or gynocracy. So I say this to you. Black men, please. Let's get on code about this. We're not giving up the seed on their terms. Not to a sperm bank. Not to a booty call. Now, I'm not with the fornication. Believe that. I'm not. But I am going to tell you this. If you are going to fornicate, you probably need to get the snip and not tell anybody about it. If you just have to do that, and you still shouldn't, but if you just got to do it, then at least get the snip so that no innocent children are involved in the sins of us. Let every fatherless child be because of something she decided without one of us. Let everybody know that it was her and a non-black man that went ahead and took her up on the offer for free fornication. And that's how that happened. Don't let them come along and just say it was a light-skinned man that did this and, he ran off because he wasn't no real man. They love to do that. How many of us are getting blamed for children that ain't ours? And there ain't no light-skinned brother doing this. No, he ain't no brother. If he is, he doesn't know it. And she doesn't know it. How many times is that going on? We already know it's between 1 to 2 million. Dennis Sperling's talked about this before. Now let's make sure that from now on, the fatherlessness rate is 100% not because of black fathers. Let's make sure about that. And it ain't a hard thing to do like we think it is. I know that this doesn't sound feasible to many of you, but let me state this. The message is more important than the messenger. And if you spread this message without attaching it to Black Mind's name, it'll get around. If you simply say to people, Black Mind said this, Black Mind said that, well, then all that's going to do is make people say, oh, Black Mind is asking for too much. It's not realistic. You've spread this message without attaching the name of the messenger to it, because there are others that are saying something similar anyway. Attach the Black manosphere to this message and watch it take off with legs within the next few years. We've already seen how much change we can make within a few years' time. Within months, we went from being red pill aware, but unfortunately, a bunch of red pill conservatives and Republicans to being red pill aware and being conservative for our own reasons and not selling out to the Republican Party. Within a few months, this change happened. Some of us became red pill aware and we were the Hodge twins. Yeah, I said it. Within a few months, a lot of us woke the up and said, wait a minute, conservatism is for us, not for them. Man, screw them. We're not wearing a suit because they're going to like us more. No, we just wear a suit because we're taking our business seriously, if our business demands it. Within a few months, Kevin Samuels made his transition from always pointing the finger at men and blaming men to telling the women, wait a minute, if you asking for all this, what you got? What you bringing? Within a few months, there was that change. Then later he went mainstream, and within a few weeks, Black America and then America as a whole knew what the talking points of the Black manosphere. That change came from weeks. We've already seen that we can affect change within a few years. So this is more possible than what you might think. It's one of the reasons I say that the message is more important than the messenger. I really hope that this message benefits, but it will only benefit if you hit the share button or you spread it by word of mouth without attaching any names to it. Thank you for listening. And as always, black heart, black mind, black out, assalamu alaikum, black heterosexual, non-select male power because they don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction of Judgment Day. Shouts out to the Cash App donors too, G Grief, JR, and S Jock. From the bottom of my black heart and from the depths of my black mind, thank you. And thank you for flying with us again here on Jet Black Airways, where the phrase jet black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with us till the wings and the wheels fall off. Gender, justice, forever.